Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making a bagel slicer. Now, talk to any ER nurse and they will probably tell you that there is a great number of hand slicing injuries that are created each year by someone slicing a bagel, holding it in their hand and then slicing through and injuring themselves. So today we're going to make a bagel slicer, and it all starts off with some fairly easy cuts at the table saw. So let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what I've got in mind. Now this project starts off with a little bit of walnut, 3/8 of an inch thick, and I have ripped it to be 3 3/16 of an inch wide. Now guys, we're gonna need 3 pieces. 2 of these pieces are 5 1/8 long, and 1 piece is 6 5/16 of an inch long. And you can just cut those over at the table saw. They're fairly simple cuts. Now these will form the main body of our bagel cutter, and they will get assembled something to the effect of this. However, I'm not just going to do butt joinery like this because number one, it has no strength. Number two, it looks horrible. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to set up my Incra iBox jig and do some box joints on this. Now we're going to do this over at the table saw. I'm not going to do it with the router, but guys, I do have a tutorial on this jig, and if you're interested in it, I can post a link to that in the video's description. I'm not going to go through the setup and everything of this jig and show it on today's show. There just isn't enough time. So we're going to get this all cut, and once we get that cut, we can sort of dry fit our base. All right, and with those pieces cut, we'll just do a dry fit to make sure everything's good here, and it looks like we are. Those are some nice fitting finger joints, but we're not going to glue this together yet. There's still a bit more work that we need to do, and that will be on our side pieces. So let me show you what we need for that. So our next step is to run some dados on the inside of our upright pieces, but we need to do some marking first. So what I have done is I have marked the front edge of both our base and both of our sides. I've marked the sides with an arrow pointing in, and that will tell me that the arrow is on the front and the arrow is pointing towards the inside where I have to make the cut. So now we can head over to the table saw. Well, here at the table saw, I have a dado blade installed. If you don't have a dado blade, you can just make multiple passes if need be. But I have this set for the smallest dado I can possibly do, which is 7/32 of an inch. So the very first thing I can do with this blade raised to 3/16 of an inch above the table surface, I'm going to run a dado on the inside front edge of each of our pieces. Guys, these measurements are going to go quick, so get a pencil and write these ones down. We are now going to turn our pieces 180 degrees, and I have placed a mark 1/2 an inch in from the edge of the board, and I want the outside edge here of our dado blade to strike there. In other words, the edge of this dado is going to be in 1/2 of an inch from our edge of the board. Well, now we're going to place that inner edge against our fence again, and we have it set so that the outside of our dado here is striking at 1 1/16 of an inch. And we'll cut the dado in both of our pieces. And now with those cut, rotate your pieces 180 degrees and cut those same dados in the opposite side of your board. And at this point, I've placed a regular table saw blade here in the saw, and we will rip it so that each one of our side panels gets cut exactly in half. So this blade will fall directly in the middle of each one of our pieces. So now, paying attention to the marks for the front and the arrows that we placed, we can put this back together just like this. And guys, at this point, we can actually glue this together. You want to make sure though that when you glue it, you pay attention to what side goes where. And we want to make sure that these sides are perfectly square. So get this glued up and we can carry on. Now you may be wondering, why not just use two smaller pieces for all these dados and stuff? Well, it's so easy to get confused and get it complicated. I've already complicated this enough, but flipping sides and turning it around, it's very easy to get one of these twisted the wrong way and get the wrong cut placed in the wrong area. So let's get this glued together, and we can actually move on while we're waiting for it to dry to some of the other pieces for this. So while we're waiting for this to dry, the next piece we need is a 1/2 inch thick piece of stock. And in this case, again, walnut. And I have cut it so that it is going to fit from the base here up to the top of our side pieces, and as well from the edge to edge here of our dados, not of our actual bagel cutter. So that is what I have done. And now we need to take this over to the table saw, and we're going to cut a couple of rabbets, one in each one of these upright edges. And those are going to be 3/16 of an inch in from the end and 1/4 of an inch deep. So we'll get those cut over at the table saw, and I'll show you what to do with them at that point. And there you go. That now becomes the back wall. This will not get glued in, so don't make that mistake. Leave it just as it is. There's a little more to do to this, but we're now going to make the dividers that will hold the bagel on the inside. So let me show you how to do that. All right, so we have some 3/16 inch thick stock here, and it is cut to the same dimension as what we cut this one to fit in our slots. The only difference is it's a little shorter, and it's only 3 7/16 tall here. But I don't want to leave it as just a square. So what I've done is I've made up a template. I've used some French curves and whatever, and I've made up this kind of a template on some 1/4 inch hardboard. And I've cut it out over at the scroll saw. I'm just going to line this up here. We're going to trace around our template and then cut it over at the scroll saw using a number 3 reverse tooth blade. And what you end up with is two dividers that look like this, and they just slide into the slots or the dados that we cut in our side pieces earlier. Okay, and we can give those a good sanding, rounding off any of those crisp edges. After all, you're going to be handling this with your hands. Sharp edges on a hardwood like walnut can actually cut you. So we don't want to deal with that. We're going to give that a good sanding. So the last piece to cut for this is going to be another piece of, in my case, walnut, 3/8 of an inch thick, and it will coincide with the dimensions of the entire front face here of our bagel cutter, and it will eventually get glued on the front here to hold everything stably in place. But I don't want this to be this big box. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to use the exact same template. And I'm going to place it at the bottom of our piece here, and I'm going to trace out just that center large circle. From there, I will extend the lines up to the top of our section here, and I will just cut it off on a 45 and round off the corners. And we will cut that over at the scroll saw again. And what you end up with is a piece that looks like this. Now guys, let me just point something out to you. Let me show you what happens when you choose the wrong scroll saw blade. Now, I have said for a very long time the importance of proper scroll saw blade selection. And in this 1/2 inch piece, while I had the proper size blade, the blade was dull. It was still cutting all right, but tension and other factors caused the blade to deflect. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is not a square cut. The blade deflected and it cut all of this on an angle. It's kind of a weird angle. So Luckily, I can repair this over at the oscillating drum sander because the top of the piece is still cut correctly and the blade deflected in such a way that I can correct it with the sander. But if that wasn't the case, this would be a ruined piece and would have to be recut. So either way, I'm going to fix that up, and what we're going to do is I'm going to glue that front face on here. We're going to clamp it together. We're going to let it dry, give everything a good sanding, and then I'm going to show you how this thing works. Okay, and there we have our bagel slicer. Now this slot here, this is where your knife travels down through in order to cut your bagel. And with these two little boards in place in the inside slots, the knife will come down and slice your bagel right in the middle. However, you can take these out. Now why? Why would you want to take this out? And on top of that, I know some of you guys are thinking, why would this be removable? Well, let me show you. Guys, what you can do is you can take this out, reverse it, and slide it into this first slot on this side. Now, with a loaf of bread, slide it up against that board, and by cutting it right here with your knife, you end up with approximately a 1/2 inch thick slice of bread. Okay, well that's great. What if you want Texas toast? Take this out, reverse it again, and put it in the second slot, and you've got a 3/4 inch slice that you can cut for Texas toast or what have you. And then when you're done with that, this here just goes back in place right over here, and you're right back to cutting a bagel again with your two center dividers to hold this. And there you go, guys. A bagel slicer. And there you have it. A bagel slicer slash bread slicer as well. Guys, this is a pretty simple project, and while it seems that at the beginning there's a lot of kind of funky measurements to follow, it's not that difficult. I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out that it's a 3-sided box with a removable end and slots to control the thickness of your slice or the thickness of your bagel. You can adjust this however you see fit. You can modify it however you see fit. What if you want extra slots all the way along to place your dividers? Go ahead and do it. It's your project. What if you want to add laser embellishments, wood burning, customization as far as that goes? How about monograms of a married couple who love to cook together and they can have this in their kitchen? How about a Christmas idea? How about a wedding gift idea? Guys, I'm telling you, for the little bit of stock that I used here, some 3/16 walnut, some 1/2 inch, and some 3/8 thick walnut, there really isn't a lot of expense or a lot of stock that was used. I didn't even use any fasteners. It's all held together with glue and finger joints. So speaking of finger joints, that Incra iBox jig to do the finger joints, if you guys haven't looked into one of these and you're interested in finger joint joinery, you are really missing out. I've got a couple of tutorials on the channel for that jig. I'll post the links to those below. And while the jig is kind of pricey, the job that it does is absolutely phenomenal. It does a fantastic job. I had those finger joints cut in about 10 minutes, said and done, finished, and fits perfectly without any deviation or variations in the finger joints at all. So just an amazing jig if you're interested in looking into that. Either way, guys, I know you hate to hear it, but Christmas is not that far away. And in a production style shop atmosphere, you could easily bang off a 6 or more of these in a day. I started this one yesterday and just did the finger joints. I only worked on it for about 1.5 hours, and then I was able to finish it off today. So, I mean, in a day, as long as you've got your ducks in a row, it would be very easy to make 6 or more in a day and be done with it and have some great gifts for your friends and family. Either way, guys, a great way to keep your hands safe, a great way to use up a little bit of stock if you've got some scrap 3/8 and 1/2 inch lying around, and honestly, just a fun all-around useful project. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed the project. If you haven't already, if you found any part of today's show interesting, informative, fun, enjoyable, you know what? Why not like and subscribe to the channel? We have an absolutely amazing audience base here, and I'm hoping that you're going to consider becoming a part of that. Guys, once again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the project. I hope you're going to give this one a try for yourself. I hope you're going to think about it and maybe add your own embellishments or your own modifications to this project. And more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video.